Hurricane Harvey, a Category 4 hurricane making landfall this evening. You know, just 48 hours ago, we had almost nothing, a depression in the Gulf of Mexico. And in 48 hours, it went from a depression to a landfalling Category 4 hurricane. We're very fortunate in some respects that it's happening in a less populated area of the coast rather than in Galveston or New Orleans or even in the city of Corpus Christi. It's a little bit north of there with 130-mile-per-hour winds. 48 hours isn't enough time to evacuate a place like Galveston. So again, it's in a less populated area. Moving to the northwest, a little slower now. The slowdown has begun. By late tonight, you see it moves just a little bit northward. By tomorrow morning, here it is, getting close to Victoria, Refugio, and then just kind of meanders around in this part of the state for a while between Rockport and San Antonio, basically about halfway between Corpus Christi and San Antonio. And when it meanders around like that, the rain shield is about as big as this circle. So this area just gets rained on and rained on and rained on. And I'll show you radar in a second because there's more rain on the north side of it that's part of it. So it's going to be a mess. Finally, by Sunday, it tries to come back down to about where it makes landfall, and then eventually turn back to the east and work its way back up the Texas coast, maybe moving back inland, being by Wednesday somewhere to the west of Houston. But it's going to be over that part of Texas for a long time and produce a tremendous amount of rainfall. Talk about how much in a second. Here's the high-resolution GOES 16 satellite image, and take a look at that. You can see it going right over San Jose Island down here. There's Rockport, so landfall officially right out here a little while ago. And now you can actually see the land through the satellite because the eye is moving over that area, and the strongest winds are in that circle around the eye. There's San Jose Island, so there's your landfall. And boy, this is a mess right over in here. Winds there gusting to over 130 miles per hour. Zoom out just a little bit, put that in a little bit of perspective. We're down here. We saw some rain along the coast this morning. Now we've got ground clutter, and we may not see much more rain out of this. You know, the valley, because this concentrated its energy and got stronger, it pulled the rain away from us, and we ended up with almost nothing. But if it's all or nothing, let's go for nothing tonight because the all is certainly up here. Now let's turn some other radars on. I turned on Houston and New Braunfels. Now you can see there's even more rain farther to the north of that, from Houston back to San Antonio and Austin. So it's really beginning to come down across that part of the state. And this is only the beginning, and it is going to wreak havoc on that part of the state for the next several days. To talk about how much rain we're looking at and what's going on up there, let's go over to Andrew Chung. Andrew.
Hey, Tim, in a nutshell, this is going to be a nightmare for many people. Let's take a look at the maps, and we'll show you the estimated rainfall amounts over the next couple of days. You notice the reds and the yellows as we progress this map here through Saturday and Sunday. Take a look at that, folks. Wow. We could be looking at as much as 33, 34 inches of rain in the Houston area alone. Meanwhile, 15.5 inches in Victoria, about 5.3 in Austin, and maybe 16.8 in the Beaumont area. This is all thanks to Harvey's rains. In addition, the warnings and watches we have up, tropical storm warning in effect for areas inland around San Antonio, but the hurricane warning continues for Corpus Christi all the way. So we have a tropical storm warning for Houston, but hurricane warnings in effect for the Corpus Christi area. Let me give you some of the numbers here. The National Hurricane Center is calling for a storm surge anywhere from 6 to 13 feet. This is between Port Aransas and Port O'Connor. And the problem is that to the right of that eye, those winds are pushing that storm surge onshore. That's where the highest storm surge is going to be. And that's why they're calling for about 6 to 13 feet of storm surge. Rainfall amounts from the middle and the upper Texas coast, we could be looking at 15 to 30 inches of rain with some isolated spots of 40 inches through Wednesday. Now here's Tim with more on the storm.
Let's watch how this kind of meanders around. I think it's just amazing, by the way, on that graphic, that from San Antonio to Houston, a tropical storm warning, that far inland, all down that I-10 corridor. And here's why. This thing gets in there and it just sits there. This is the NAM model, the North American model. Look how it just rains and rains and rains and rains. And by Monday, it's still there. Tuesday, it's still there. It eventually moves out, but it's going to take a while for that to happen, so that entire area. Whew. We may be optimistic on our rain chances, 40, 30, 20, because it looks like we're having trouble getting anything in here. It's going to be pretty dry the next few days with only an isolated shower, except maybe if that thing settles a little farther to the south. 90 and 93 the next 3 days, so we're below average. Tonight then, a low of 76 with passing showers, but very, very isolated. Most areas are dry. Tomorrow, same thing. Most areas are dry, but a brief shower possible. Your high tomorrow around 90. Here we go, 90, a couple of 93s. Our rain chances are not very good to begin with, and they taper off quickly after that. And by the time we're into next week, we're right back up in the mid to upper 90s once again. So some warm weather on tap, but it looks like at least the clouds keep temperatures down the next couple of days. That is your updated First Warn 5 forecast. Joel.